Here it is August already, and it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a gardening update, so let's do one. All of our pepper projects are doing great, and I just did a video on that, so if you want to know more details about these peppers, I'll put a link down below. Here's our Rosella purple in the grow bag. It's still got some tomatoes. I've been really pleased with the Sleeping Lady dwarf tomato plants. Here's one of those. I already pulled one of our 2 Baronia plants, but the other one still has lots of tomatoes on it and even has a couple up at the top. Here's an update on the tomato plant that I did 4 grafts on. 2 of them have tomatoes on them. This one looks like a lemon ice, and the other one looks like a kookaburra cackle. If you want to know more about my grafting projects, I did a video on that, and I'll put a link down below. We finally have a few watermelons growing, and I'm looking forward to trying those at some point. As you can see, the pole beans are still very, very tall, and we've harvested lots of beans this year. The corn is also very tall, and some of it is about 10 feet tall. And right next to that are some very tall sunflowers next to the very tall bananas. The Musa Velutina bananas should be getting flowers very soon. As you would expect, we've been harvesting lots of stuff. Here's some long cucumbers, Jimmy Nardello peppers, some Buena Mulata peppers, Lesia peppers, some Sugar Rush cream peppers, some Oda peppers, and even some Chinese 5-color hot peppers. For us this year, the Monte Gusto pole beans have been the most productive, and we just ate some of those recently and they're really good. The Cherokee Trail of Tears pole beans came on late and gave us some good harvest too. The Seychelles beans did pretty well considering they were shaded by some of the other pole beans, as were the Carmenat. The second most productive for us were the rattlesnake pole beans, and those tended to get large very quickly. If you grow those, I would suggest picking very often. Along with the successes, there are a few failures like this half-eaten tomato. We finally got around to harvesting the rest of our carrots. Here's one of our 6 types. I did a taste test on the kookaburra cackle, and I'll be posting that sometime next week. The pepper plant that I did 7 grafts on still has the Buena Mulata pepper, and another one of the grafts is forming peppers. As you can see on the back side of the straw bales, the sweet potato vines are trying to invade the rest of the garden. Next to those is the Ahi Rico, and it's getting quite a few ripe peppers on it. The Jimmy Nardello is done very well considering it's shaded by the Sugar Rush cream. I harvested quite a few albino bullnose peppers early on, and that encouraged it to form more. Next to it, the Lesia still has quite a few peppers on it, even though we lost a couple of branches to a storm. Just beyond it is the Chinese 5-color hot pepper, and it's got quite a few peppers on it. The Mega Gold did very well for us last year, but it's not doing as well this year. A closer look at the beans reveals that they've seen better days. We'll be doing a little more harvesting, but they'll be coming out pretty soon. I'm 6'2", and by standing on my tiptoes, I'm able to reach most of them, but not all of them. We keep picking Buena Mulata peppers, and it keeps making more. Even though the Heritage Big Jim chili pepper got off to a slow start, it's finally starting to set on quite a few peppers, and these get very large, up to about 1 foot. The Cuban L pepper has a few peppers on it, but it's setting quite a few at the top. We finally have peppers on that F3 Black Pearl hybrid out in the garden, so I was glad to see that. The Roia pepper still has quite a few peppers on it, even though I've lost a couple to sun scald on that one. And the blot right next door still has lots of peppers on it. I harvested a couple of big ones, and it's set on quite a few more. Speaking of harvesting, we've done a lot of that, so I'll show you a few things that we picked. The Japanese long cucumbers have done very well for us this year, and I think that's our new favorite. We used to like Market Moore 76 the best, but I think this one has taken its place. We've done very well with our pole beans also, and I hope to put together a video comparing the different types. As I mentioned before, the Monte Gusto have been the most productive for us. We've also been getting plenty of peppers and plenty of tomatoes. It took the long beans a while to get going on the string trellis, but we're now getting some of those too. By growing on a trellis, you can grow a lot of food in a small amount of space. The monarchs will use this volunteer Mexican sunflower on their way south. Some Velvet Queen sunflowers are in bloom not too far from the Mexican sunflowers, and the pollinators have really been loving those. We also have some Bohemian Rhapsody sunflowers, as well as a few volunteers that came up on their own. I'm really liking the Bohemian Rhapsody. They're pretty. I've shown you quite a few of the things that we've harvested, but not everything we harvest makes it into a video. Sometimes I'm out there and I just pick a few things on the way back in, without the camera. As I'm looking at all the healthy produce, I realize just how blessed I am. And a big part of that blessing is you. I really appreciate each and every one of you that watch my videos. I don't always say thank you, but I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much for stopping by, watching the videos, and taking the time to comment. I really do appreciate it. I got a little impatient and picked one ear of corn early just so I could see what it looked like. And as you can see, it's kind of interesting. I'm already getting anxious to see the rest of them. Over by the long beans, we even have a cucumber plant growing, so that'll come in handy later. I haven't talked about the potatoes much lately, but we harvested one of our 2 rows of no-dig potatoes, and we didn't do too bad considering that was my first attempt at growing them that way. I mentioned that we grew 6 different types of carrots, and we went ahead and harvested what we had left in the ground. We've been harvesting those a few at a time as we needed them, and it reminds me of a meal we had recently with some salmon, carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, and pickled beets. It was all really delicious. This one was extremely large compared to the rest of them, and I put this one back in the ground just to see if I could get it to grow and overwinter so I could save seeds from it. I don't know if that will work at this time of year, but we'll sure find out. Overall, I think the carrots did okay, considering I didn't give them that much attention and probably didn't water them as much as I should have. My son sent me this picture of a Baronia that he's growing in a grow bag, and I'd say he's doing pretty well for his first attempt at growing tomatoes. I just happened to be outside with the camera, or this harvest wouldn't have made it into this video either. There's quite a few shishitos and plenty of tomatoes. As I mentioned before, we're really blessed. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you one more time. I really appreciate each and every one of you who watch. I hope you're all having a great growing season. And don't forget to like and share this video. We'll see you next time.